Poverty can lead to hunger, lack of shelter, being sick, or simply lack of education or knowledge. It is typically living one day at a time. These families in Washington City are learning how to avoid or break the cycle of poverty through the Pillars of Success program, by planning for their futures by creating dream boards.
Well, my dreams are education. I'd like to go back to school for economic development. Money, that's a goal. Hot air balloon, it's been like a childhood bucket list.
The idea in this 12-week course is to help families change their mindset and give them the confidence to act on it.
Having the repetitive, consistent reminders, help, resources, motivation to keep doing and get to where I want to be in life.
There are two kinds of poverty: situational poverty versus intergenerational poverty. While one is easier to resolve, the other just grows and continues from generation to generation.
Here in Washington County, we see that we're 4 generations deep. So if a family is intergenerational poverty, 4 generations deep, that usually means that they have no access or knowledge of how to get out of that poverty, because that's all they see. It's the same thing. If I've been raised on food stamps, I'm going to get food stamps. If nobody went to college, I'm not going to college, because I'm going to parrot what I have been seeing in my family history.
Utah measures intergenerational poverty based on the use of 4 public assistance programs. Washington County has one of the highest poverty levels in Utah.
We're actually one of the highest counties as far as our poverty rate, with about 45% of our citizens needing some sort of assistance that would put them into the classification of poverty.
Of those, 16% are considered generational.
We also have a problem with what we call a poverty cliff. In other words, people will qualify for a program today, take Medicaid, and then once they get even a small job, they lose that benefit. And so it's important to kind of help them know and gain the skills they need to kind of get over that hump.
Iverson and Hollowell, along with others, have formed an IGP committee to address 4 areas.
Looking at how do we put in several pillars that make families successful. And some of that might be family and economic stability. Some of that might be education. Some of that might be transportation. Those are key pieces into, if you can solve those problems, you can solve the intergenerational poverty.
One reason many people become stuck in poverty is due to working lower income part-time jobs and lacking education to move up. It was suggested that businesses offer incentives to those workers to receive higher education to make more money.
Certificates of some sort, something that means something that's tangible, that they can get promotion, they can make more money, and then all of a sudden education becomes important and they push it down to their children.
The employers have to understand that they play a key part in this, right? And if they're not at the table with us as we design this plan and we rally around somebody with all these resources, and then we go send them off to employers who just don't get it, it'll take us longer to make these changes.
Poverty levels in Washington County impact many more career paths than one might think.
It's our teachers. It's our firemen, it's our policemen, it's our hotel worker. There are so many working poor in Washington County because the wages are low that they're struggling too. And so we don't want them to start going into generational poverty. And so we have to be able to look at it in a broad enough spectrum to say, where are we looking? Where are we looking for these families that need our help?
Hollowell said while most of the homeless population is situational poverty, there are those who keep coming back. Switchpoint has been teaching those how to break the cycle of poverty through its Circles program for about the last 3.5 years.
The magic of it happens when we match them up with a middle-class mentor. So after 12 weeks, they're matched up with a mentor, and then they build that relationship, and that relationship is really what teaches them then all of the middle-class thinking and behaviors.
That old adage of you can give a person a fish or you can teach them to fish. This is teaching people to fish.
But how to get those families to come forward and become educated is another question.
In Washington County, we have 25,000 individuals in intergenerational poverty. And for us to get to a tipping point, which would be 2,500 people, tipping point for us is 10%, to make a change, to really get a shift, going, is how do we attain that? How do we get to that 2,500 individuals?
That's why the county is willing to offer incentives covered by grants to pay those who refer a $50 stipend.
And so it's easy to say, I'll hand them a flyer, but it has to be an internalization. And I think for us, starts with my folks that work for me.
And those who complete the 12-week Pillars of Success course, another $300.
Do you need more mentors? Absolutely. We need families in poverty, and we need mentors to help them if we're ever going to attain that number of 2,500.
The IGP committee is hoping to fill the room with families in the new Pillars program. The idea is to get the word out through schools and other families on the importance of how to avoid going down the same road for generations to come.
If we want to do what's best for our family, whoever we are that making the decisions, we got to stop being prideful and need to be more humble to make sure that we are doing what's best for not only our family, but our grandkids.
I will like to be a ballerina.
Melissa Anderson, CEC News.